Now, when they asked me to do a demonstration, basically, when you're a professional kickboxer, I am a kung fu stylist, but the sport that I'm known for is kickboxing. And what I do is knock people unconscious. And I don't think I'm going to get anybody from the audience to stand here while I demonstrate how hard I can punch them in the chin. So I've got a friend here who's going to come up. We good?
Marcel Schneider.
Marcel Schneider is going to hold some mitts for me, and I'll show you some of the techniques. Now, I don't train people to become kickboxers. Basically, I'm a martial artist first, kung fu stylist. And kickboxing is a sport I participated in to improve my self-defense and my kickboxing. So I'm going to show you a few things that everybody in this room can use and work on. It can improve. Even today, after 30 years, I still work on these things, these techniques every day. I'll show you some basic punches and kicks. There's basically, let's say in kickboxing, 6 punches and about 6 kicks. And we'll go through the basics first. First one would be a lead hand or jab. And you basically want to remember 2 things. Number 1, do not tighten any muscles. It's not a bodybuilding contest. To strike something, you only need to tighten up at the very tail end, the very end of the punch. You throw a stiff jab, you use a little bit of your muscle just to tighten up. Now that's a nose breaker. Just, you step in, you notice my body is really covering some ground here. That's really where the power is. The weight, my body's 175, the weight of my body goes right through my hand to the opponent's nose basically. Okay, the next punch, be a left hook. Now, everybody throws a left hook a little bit different. There are many ways. You can throw a wide left hook, a tight one. I like one where the hand is 90 degrees. Because at this level, there's no muscle involved. If I turn my fist like this, then it's muscle. If I turn it like this, it's all body. And there's no energy. You can feel if that hits on the chin, if that hits on the chin, it stuns your opponent, and it takes no energy. I mean, it's absolutely, every guy in this room could knock me totally unconscious, very easily, with just technique. It's not the muscle. It's not the muscle. The arm just stays 90 degrees, and you notice I'm turning my body. It's like a golf swing. Tiger Woods does not have the biggest biceps in the world. That's not what makes him good in golf. I know some of these American baseball players are taking steroids, but it's actually not about the muscle in the arms for hitting home runs. It's about timing, accuracy, and getting the hip and the body behind it. Now, the next punch would be the cross, which in my case would be a right hand. And basically, this is more powerful because it has the weight of the body. But it's still the same thing. There's no muscle that tightens up. If you tighten a muscle, you're fighting 2 people. You're fighting yourself, because every time you tighten that muscle, you lose energy. And you're fighting your opponent, because every time your opponent hits you, you have to tense up to absorb punishment. So you don't want to basically tighten your own muscles and fight 2 people. You want to stay relaxed. It sounds easy. It's a very difficult thing to do when somebody's trying to decapitate you. Okay, I'm going to show some kicks. Now remember, I'm going to go very light because we're not used to working together. But everything is in combinations, and I will do my best to relax and be accurate and generate a little power from my body, not necessarily muscles. You notice I'm trying to stay in the same position because this is my fighting stance. This is basically where when the fight starts, I get just like this. And I try to do everything either one side or the other side, not fighting like this. This is totally open. You should fight to the side like this. Oh, thank you. What I was saying was when you fight, you don't fight square like this because you're too open to be struck. You fight to the side. This is something Bill Wallace taught me many years ago, and it was the law then, and it's still the law. You fight from the side position. Those are rib breakers. What I'd like to show is, when I first started kickboxing, there was one organization, it was called the Professional Karate Association in North America. That was full contact karate, and it was a combination of boxing with kicks above the waist. And at the time Bill was the champion, I was the #1 contender. But I ended up fighting for an organization called the World Kickboxing Association, and they allowed kicks below the waist. And the reason they did that was that's the way they fight in Thailand and Japan and in the Orient. That's their version of kickboxing. They don't understand when you're kicking only above the waist. They believe you kick the entire body. It's martial arts, and they look at the whole body as a target. So the American fighters, a lot of very good qualified punchers and kickers, went over to Japan and Thailand for the first time to fight with those rules, and they got taken out to the legs. So what I was going to show today is basically how very simple it is to defend yourself against the leg kick, and how very effective it is, because I had mentioned it before, it's very effective for self-defense. If somebody's coming at you, and you know, I don't believe any of us are going to have a self-defense situation where a trained martial artist is going to try to rob us or attack us. It'll be just some, what I call knucklehead, some guy who wants your wallet, or if it's a woman, it's some guy who's wants something other than your wallet. But they're not going to be trained in blocking and countering leg kicks. Basically, they're going to be walking towards you with their arms to grab you, and their legs are going to be totally defenseless. So it is the easiest thing in the world to kick someone in the legs. Now, I taught a seminar once, and it was only for black belts and above, and it was many years ago, and I asked them if they had a student in a self-defense situation, would they tell them to kick to the head or kick to the leg? And all the black belts said, well, we tell them to kick to the head, or to the leg, of course. You know, it's easier, it's safer, kick the legs. And I said, well, what kick would you think should be used? And they said the side kick and the knee. Now, the reality is, if side kicks to the knee were the best way to take out your legs, all the Thai boxers and Japanese kickboxers would have been doing it by now. But the knee is a very small target, and it moves. And it's very hard when you throw a side kick and you miss. I mean, it's just, you have no recourse. You're off balance. It's very impractical to try to side kick somebody's knee when they're moving around like this in a fight. The kick you would use for self-defense and in sport karate, in Thai boxing, is the roundhouse kick. And it's not like the martial art kick where a small portion of our foot is hitting a target. It is the entire shin. You see how big it is? It is your shin is this long. And if the guy comes forward, your opponent, you're in a self-defense situation, you still may hit him the very least with your knee in the top part of your shin. If he moves back, you're up to hit with the lower part and maybe even the foot if he backs up. But that's the kick to use. Now, can I have I need a demonstrator here, because this is something that's impossible to show. Better if it's a guy, yeah. I think his girlfriend was volunteering to come out, but okay, in a fighting state, you're just a regular guy, you come at him right. You're gonna step forward with your leg. Now, the target you wanna hit in sport karate and in self-defense is not the knee, because really it's too hard to hit. What you hit is the thigh, boom. Now, you try to hit the thigh with your shin. You have a long striking area here, and the whole body goes. It's not a snap like that. The whole leg goes like that. And you try to hit down. Now, if I kick you up, see your leg can go up. But if I bring my leg up like a baseball bat and come down, it literally can paralyze your leg. The shot hits and right up against the bone, and this hand stays out here. You don't do it like this. My head like this, my hand like, because you do it like this. Boom. Okay? Now, as soon as it hits, you come right back, boom, the other way. You continue. Thank you, because you continue. Big hand for my helper. You continue to chop the legs like a tree. That's the theory. You think of the leg like a tree, and how hard is it to cut down a tree with a hatchet with one swing? It's very difficult. Even a small tree, one swing, it takes, but you can cut down an oak tree with many little chips. And that's the theory of fighting a person and hitting in the legs over and over and over. Over time, believe me, I can take a pretty good leg kick. I can take 2 or 3, 4 or 5. When you get up to 6, 7, 8, that's when the muscle of the thigh it's pretty much gone. It's beat up. And I'm a trained fighter. So the average guy, when you start chopping those legs for self-defense and you're using your hands to push, keep them at a distance, and whacking the legs, keeping your shoulders up to protect your chin, your hands out to keep them at the distance, you're a very difficult person to defeat for an untrained fighter, for just a normal guy. And all of you, you don't have to stretch. You don't have to spend 20 years being able to perfect high kicks. I can kick high, but I choose to get the legs with my style of kickboxing, soften them up, work the body, and then go to the chin with my hands. And that's been the key to my success. Oh, thank you. That's been my key to success offensively, and I think that will work for everybody in this room. You work the legs, use the hands to set up, or the body shots to set up the head shot. I think yesterday I mentioned, if you just think 1 or 2 moves in advance, like a game of chess, you can outthink your opponents. I used to say I don't beat them with my biceps, I beat them with my IQ. And not to say a lot of fighters have high IQs, but mine, hopefully mine was slightly above most of my opponents, and I could outthink them. Anyway, that's my self-defense tip. Doesn't take long to practice it. You can practice on the bag. Just put the bag on the ground and kick it back and forth. And I've enjoyed my weekend here. It's great. I've been to Canada a few times. I actually shot one of my movies in Toronto. It was shot to be, it played for Hoover Dam, but actually all the interiors were shot right here in Toronto. Then we filmed 2 weeks in Las Vegas at Hoover Dam for the exteriors. But I actually did shoot a movie here, and I love the town, love the people, and it's good to be back. Thank you very much.